Hey guys, it's Amber and welcome to day 3 of December Daily. So I've actually been struggling with this layout a little bit. I think I was trying to make it a little too perfect, or I wasn't sure how I wanted to work on it, but what I have is I'm working on the back of my day 2 story from Trader Joe's. So I have a 4-pocket page protector and I was trying to fit everything in here, and I could have, but then I blew up another 6x8 photo and then the layout kind of came together more in my head. So what I just have is I'm telling a story about like just holiday drinks and like treats and stuff. So I'm actually using the back of this paper, and I put this green hexagon on here that says Eat, Drink, and Be Merry. That was from last year's kit. And I have a picture of hot cocoa in my Allie Edwards mug. I have a peppermint milkshake from Chick-fil-A. I'm trying to work on this card here. Part of what I was struggling with is it says enjoy, but it says sights and sounds, and I'm not doing anything with sights and sounds really, and I could, but it's about like flavors. So I was trying to find a way to cover that up that didn't look too cheesy or weird or off balance. And then I happened to be shopping the other day and I stopped at Shake Shack and I got one of these amazing Christmas cookie drinks. So once I started laying this on here, even though the colors aren't perfect, I had already been considering using this 3 wreath 3x8 transparency. I like that it had the 3 on it, and I wanted to maybe put my 3 on it. I still could change my mind and put it like on my photo here, but what I think I'm going to do is do my journaling here, and I was looking at maybe putting a piece of paper on here. Like, it would not be perfectly, it wouldn't take up the whole thing, but it would just be enough to cover the design area and the rest would be clear, which I kind of thought would be a fun look. And I could put the 3 on here, and then when it flips, I could do a design that kind of helps tie the colors together, but like lets this be green without showing so much of the red, sort of. So I'm considering this green tree pattern paper from the 3x8 Paisley Press Kit. I have this old Jasmine Jones paper I'm considering because it kind of ties in with the branches. I have this green star paper from this year's main kit that I'm considering, and I actually really like that. And I could maybe do like a star embellishment on top of there. I have this plus sign pattern from, I think, the 2017 kit. Part of the reason why I like this is it still had the red, it had the bright and the dark greens, but it also had this green here, which kind of matches like the couches and the colors in the photo, so it kind of pulled all those colors in. And then I also have this ornament paper from the main kit, which again, same thing. It has the dark green, the light green, a little pop of red, and I wouldn't even really need to embellish it because it's such a busy pattern. So that's kind of where I'm going. I might do something on here. I was actually thinking hexagons are so big that I was thinking about maybe putting like a hexagon here with like just some notes about where this one was from, and I could maybe put one up here kind of like to lead your eye through the page. So I think I'm gonna pop you on fast forward once I start making some real decisions, and you'll be able to see my process. Okay, thanks.
All right, so decisions made. I'm going to be going with the green and white star paper from the 2019 Allie Edwards main kit. Just grabbing my trimmer and cutting it right down the middle to a 3x8 size. Checking to see which one I like better, the way the pattern lays out. And then I'm going to be taking the film off of the transparency and getting ready to attach the number 3. So what I do is I peel some of the layers off so it's not quite so thick. And then I actually end up using a cut up piece of like a photo square to attach to the number. I would like to use adhesive, like a dot adhesive, but it just pulls at the chipboard once all the layers have been removed. So this I find is a little bit easier, and I can cut it really skinny to fit into those narrow spaces. So I'm getting ready to attach that now, get everything centered. And then underneath where the 3 is, I'm gonna apply more adhesive of those photo squares to attach the paper. I had a huge mistake where I tried using like a vellum adhesive thinking that that would work well with the transparency piece, and it did not. So I tried a vellum rolling adhesive and it totally ruined it. I had to go find like adhesive remover, and it kind of ruined my paper a little bit, so I had to go grab the other half. But here I am getting ready to make some decisions on how I'm going to decorate the page. So I really liked the puffy stars. And the dark green one that says Choose Joy is a little repetitive with the Enjoy card, but it just looked the best with the colors of my photo. Actually, sorry, it says Holiday Joy. And then I started considering using some of the hexagon cork pieces from the kit, and I chose one that said Holiday Spirit. And then this ended up changing the entire direction of my page because I liked the look of this, but it wasn't the right color or size for that space. And I remembered these amazing cork pieces that Laura Wanzik from the design team made using like paints and texture and inks and stuff.
Okay, guys, so while I was in the middle of deciding what I wanted to do with this page, I remembered this really fun idea that I had seen with Laura Wanzik, where she painted cork with different texture glazes and stuff. She did punch circles, so I'm thinking I want to do hexagons to stick with the theme. I want to make one about this size. I just used, I bought this cork sheet of paper from Recollections. Like, it's really flimsy, like flexible, I mean, but thin, and it actually fit in my Fiskars extra large punch, which is about like 2 inches across. So thinking I'll put like another one of those up here, and then I'll probably combine those on my page with one of these Ali Edwards ones. We'll see. I might just make 3 of my own for fun. But so I did a practice punch here, and I wanted to show you honestly on here just how easy it was. I was really impressed with how well it punched out, nice and clean. So I'm going to have 2 that size that I want to play with. And then let me just set my cork off to the side. I have a tiny little mini hexagon punch. I think they're like extra large, large, and medium. I have the medium, which I think is like too tiny for this kind of project, where I'm going to use some glaze. So I bought some supplies. They just came in from scrapbook.com. I'm really excited. So, not to go on a total tangent, I'm not usually artsy crafty like this, but I bought the silver, which probably won't go with this page, the rose gold, which I might play with, and then they didn't have the white or the gesso in stock, so I got the molding paste. We'll see how that is. These powdered pigments that you mix with this, and then this was on scrapbook.com, but I actually happened to find one right after I had seen that instruction video from her at Tuesday morning. So I was able to get one for like $2.99, which was cool. Then I'll be able to smooth it on there. I have some washi tape set aside so I can like mark it off, and then I might even stamp something, or maybe I'll stick with doing little stars. I was thinking how cute like a little star would be on top of the white area. So I'm gonna play with that. I'm gonna have to let these dry before I can finish putting them on the page, but I'm really excited to try it and share it with you.
All right, so as you can see there, I've punched out a couple hexagons, and then I'm using one of the plastic acetate pieces from the main kit there as a template for the size of the enlarged cork that I wanted to use. So just getting that trimmed out, because I wanted it to be consistent throughout the album with, you know, the sizes that I'm using. And for a second there, you're seeing me just putting that piece back into the page where it's going with my upcoming page about my holiday Christmas card. So, getting these ready to go here. I'm pulling out my washi tape. I have an extra piece of paper down on my desk. It's actually like a thin piece of cardboard that was from like shipping that I can use to like mix up the paints and make a mess on without getting my desktop super messy. So I'm just trying to find about the halfway point with the washi tape to mask off so that I can do half of the hexagon cork with color. And then I have a couple of the little ones that I also end up later punching out an extra one because I really wanted to play with the silver, even though I knew it wasn't going to be on this page. I just wanted to have one to use later in the album while I was getting out all my supplies and making a mess. So my original plan was to make 2 red and 2 green, and the pigment powders looked very dark, but they actually, no matter how much I put in of the red, it just got darker and darker pink, even though it was the most red looking pigment. So I cut out all the time I spent mixing things. And the green was a beautiful green, but it turned more mint and it just did not work with the color of my page because my photos are so dark. So here I am pulling out the white texture paste. And I don't really have a lot of artsy crafty tools, so I'm literally using like some plastic spoons from my kitchen to help mix it up, some paper to help like scoop it back off the spoon back into the jar. And there you can see I'm adding the pigment powders from Vicky Bouton, and I had to cut out like 5 minutes of me mixing to like get this really, 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 really dark. So that was about as dark as I could get it after like 6 or 7 attempts. And there you can see I am taking the spreader and I'm just figuring out how the texture looks on the cork. Like if I press too hard, I pull too much off and you can see the cork underneath. And I didn't really want to see too much texture, but a little bit. So I'm just like learning how it feels. And this one I probably spent the most on, like grabbing more, putting it on, pulling it off, making sure there wasn't too much on the edges, and just smoothing it out as best as I can. So then after working on the larger one, I wanted to peel it off, see how it looked. I didn't want to let it dry on there in case the washi tape started to stick too much to the cork piece and like pull off. So I wanted to get it off there and let it start drying. And I was really, really happy with the way that it came out. So just set that aside, peeled off the washi tape and threw that away. And then I started working on applying a little bit to the smaller one, which you'll see here. And this one hardly takes any time at all. Even with the sped up video, I didn't really have to cut anything out for that one. I was happy with it right away. And here you can see I'm about to start mixing up the green. And I knew that I wasn't going to be needing as much of the texture paste as last time, so I'm mixing up a much smaller batch. It was harder to stir, but I just realized after some, trial and error that I didn't really need a ton of it. So as you can see there, it's the pigment powder is a dark green, but I put in a lot of powder and it just still was turning out more minty, which I do love. Just, again, wasn't the colors I was going for here. So getting those all painted and ready to go. And then I do eventually grab the cork paper, which I got at Recollections. I got at Michael's. It's their Recollections brand. It was about $2 a sheet, and I was really happy with the quality. It's very flexible, and it was, very happy with how it punched and cut as well. I didn't have any tearing issues at all. So I'm just cleaning out my edges a tiny bit more and pulling off my last one. And there I am punching my last one. I just want to show you just how easy it was one more time, but I don't show you painting it silver. So here I am using my Tim Holtz stamp platform, and I have the magnets holding the cork in place, but since it has some more dimension than normal paper would, I actually end up not really being able to use the magnet pieces on the top. I just put them in the side to try to keep it down in that same corner. So I'm using Stays On ink to apply a December Moments stamp from Ali Edwards. It's a few years old, and I really liked the way it was 2 words, and then it would go above and below my 2 colors of the design. So it stuck a tiny bit, but luckily everything peeled off really nicely, and I was able to push it back into place and re-stamp again. That is what is so amazing about this stamp platform. The one I have is about a 9x9 dimension, and the edges are designed so that if you needed to, you could put 12x12 paper in there and it wouldn't like get compressed or anything. So it's perfect for most of the scrapbooking pages that I do. And you can see me right there. I was holding up the cork piece, and I actually did like a little happy dance on my chair there as I was holding it up to the camera because I was so happy with the way it came out. So showed you for a second there how I clean my stamps. I have one of those scrubby brushes that I got off scrapbook.com. Works great. Really removes the ink from inside of my stamps. And then I'm getting ready to create the next one, which is from a different Ali Edwards stamp that says Make Merry. So I applied the ink, and it ended up looking like a little too thick on the M, so I take a paper towel, I dab it off, re-ink it a tiny bit again, and it just kind of still got a little too dark and blurry, but I love the way it came out anyway. So really, really happy with the way these came out, hoping that I can use some more throughout the album so that it looks consistent. I ended up not using any of the Ali Edwards ones from the add-ons in this particular layout, but I will continue to use them throughout the book, I'm sure. So here you are seeing again how you can keep stamping in the same place over and over again. It's so awesome. So I started laying everything out here and attaching some puffy stars from an add-on. These in particular are black, but they're so close in color to the Holiday Joy, which is dark green. You can't tell, but I liked the fact that it created a trio of stars. And you can see here I'm considering for a moment using some hexagon chipboard. The color just wasn't quite right, and it didn't really balance well with the cork look that I had going on, which was more like stark colors. So here I am just testing to see which one I like. Pretty confident. I knew for a while that I would plan to use that one. I'm just working on trying to get everything centered. And then after I got everything set exactly how I wanted, I decided I wanted to use one more of the pink puffy stars just to help pull in the color of those two hexagon pieces. And I originally just stuck it down, overlapping one of the corners a little bit, but puffy stars, the puffy stickers in general don't really seem to have a ton of adhesive. So I ended up using a foam dot from Gina K to help support it. And you can see there I was just playing with some chipboard to see if I wanted to add it, but it was a little too close to the star design and it made it just look too busy. So I've attached that little puffy star with a little foam adhesive so that it can layer over the other one. And then I'm going to use red line tape to attach my cork pieces. I have the 1/2 inch size here, and I ended up putting one on each, basically like top and bottom, and then one of the sides was curling up, so I needed to use a little bit more to help stick it down. Even though this piece is going to be in a page protector, I just wanted to make sure it was secure in there. All right, so now I'm just grabbing one of these 6x8 page protectors to slide that page into. Now that it's all ready to go, cleaning off my desk a little bit. And then adding that completed page into the album. And I just wanted to see how everything looked while it was laid out there, tucking some of my papers that I really want to use back inside. So adding the 3x8 insert, and then I add this one before realizing I still need to do my journaling and connect all the cards from the back of page 2 onto page 3. So I like to line up all my cards, trim the edges so that everything's nice and clean. So there I was adding some rubber adhesive to adding red line adhesive to the rubber piece. Then you can see I'm just lining up my cards, and then like I said, I trim where needed so that things line up nice and easily. And then just do a little bit of journaling detailing what the 3 drinks are. And getting that last card connected and stuck together. And putting it back in my page. So I'll take a second here and flip through how everything looks in the album, and I really am loving the way the album's coming together so far, using some of my ideas that I've had, remembering, I should say, to use some of the ideas that I had. And thanks again so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button for more December daily projects and inspiration, and hit that little bell if you want to be notified when I post more videos. Thanks again.